Hey everyone, welcome to Tathastu. I hope you all are doing good. And I think most of you must have been aware what is happening in Himachal Pradesh. Most of you must have seen the footages, the videos, and most of you must have prayed for the people of Himachal also. In last 24 hours, two days from now, 2 days back, in within 24 hours only, more than 50 people have died in Himachal. And all these things are very unfortunate. Last month only I covered about the flash floods in Uttarakhand. Today I'm covering the cloudburst in Himachal Pradesh. So the climate change and the things associated with it, particularly in the Himalayan states, is very unfortunate. So today I'm going to tell you something about these things, and we are going to discuss why is it happening in the Himalayan states and what are these cloudbursts and why is it happening, can we predict it, and what is the definition of it and what are the consequences related to it. Okay, so the news is, well, let me show you the news. Well, the news is over 50 people have died within 24 hours in the state of Himachal Pradesh, and the chief minister of Himachal Pradesh, Mr. uh, Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu, according to him, uh, other than landslide, the prominent reason which is attached to all the mishappenings and the unfortunate events which is happening in Himachal Pradesh is because of the cloud burst. Okay, so we are going to talk about this. What are these cloud bursts? Ideally, a cloudburst is a localized but intense rainfall activity. Okay, something a very heavy rainfall in a localized manner somewhere in a local condition. Okay, so if we break the definition in different parts, so a short spell of very heavy rainfall, a heavy rainfall for a shorter time period happening in a small geographical area. Okay, very small geographical area, and it eventually causing heavy destruction, very heavy destruction. It will lead to the formation. Then we can categorize it as cloudburst. So these are the four things which are associated with it: heavy rainfall in a for a shorter span of time in a small area, leading to heavy destruction. This is broadly the identification of cloudburst. Okay, and not all the, now you'll ask, all the instances of heavy rainfall, will they be considered a cloudburst? The answer is no, because this cloudburst also has a particular specific, very specific definition. See, this is the definition: the rainfall of 10 centimeter or more in an hour over a roughly 10 square kilometer, 10 is to 10 kilometers area, is classified as a cloudburst event. Okay, now this particular line is very much important. We can cover this cloudburst event and the Himachal happening through an emotional prism, through an emotional way, or we can cover it from multiple dimensions, as we will cover it from the multiple dimensions for our mains answers. But specifically for the prelims, these kind of definitions are very much important. You might cover it from different dimensions with a different perspective, but the type of questions which are coming in prelims, and this is not something इससे पहले यही हो रहा था कि वी वर ऑल गेसिंग इट. ओके, अगर ओनली वाले आंसर्स आ रहे हैं तो देन इट विल बी एब्सोल्युटली रॉन्ग, द नंबर क्वेश्चंस विल बी रॉन्ग. बट नाउ यू हैव टू लर्न ऑल दीज थिंग्स, ऑल दीज नंबर्स बाय हार्ट. ओके, so the rainfall of 10 centimeters or more, you can read it, revise it, tell it to your mummy, your papa, maybe it get etched into your heads, into your minds, so you might not forget it. Rainfall of 10 centimeter or more in an hour over a roughly 10 square kilometer, 10 kilometer to 10 kilometer area is classified as a cloudburst event. By this definition, a 5 centimeter of rainfall for half an hour will also be considered as a cloudburst. So this is the typical definition of a cloudburst, which is responsible for what all is happening in Himachal Pradesh. Now, you'll ask, how common is cloudburst? So in monsoon seasons, specifically in Himalayan states, in particularly during the monsoon months, this cloudburst event is quite common. Okay, most of these happen in the Himalayan state, where the local, all this cloudburst happen because of the factors in the Himachal state. Now these factors are local topography, one factor is this, second is wind system, and third is temperature gradients between the lower and the upper atmosphere. It facilitates the occurrence of such events. Now if I elaborate this briefly, very briefly, how is this topography going to impact why is this topography of Himalayan states are responsible for the formation of cloudbursts? Specifically because the Himalayan states have a rugged terrain. Okay, there are deep gorges, there are deep valleys, there are steep slopes, very steep slopes, and because of this differentiation, steep slopes and deep gorges, the moist air from the lower altitude is lifted up. Okay, from the lower altitude, because of this terrain, the moist air, it gets lifted up, and because it goes up, the condensation forms, the cloud formation occurs, and eventually it leads to the rainfall. So that is why it is said that this topology or this topography is responsible for the formation or the occurrence of the cloudbursts. Second is wind system. Now, how wind system? Specifically, these are monsoon winds. Okay, they carry the moisture from the Indian Ocean to the mainland India or to the geographical area, and also to the Himalayan states also. And there, these wind system, when they get interacted, or when they interact with the terrains of the Himalayan states, or the terrains of the Himalayan states like Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, these air parcels also goes up. Okay, and when it goes up, condensation occurs, cloud formation occurs, and eventually the heavy rainfall. Similarly, the third thing is gradient, temperature gradient. Now, Himalayan states, Uttarakhand and Himachal, they are not like Delhi and Mumbai, or Rajasthan or Haryana. They have very steep slopes, deep gorges, so there are different variations in the topography. That is why they have different variations in the temperature system also. The plain areas of these Himalayan states have warm air, and the altitude, the areas which are situated on a higher altitude, have colder air. And when these warm air parcels goes up and they interact with the colder air, then due to this interaction, the condensation occurs in the cloud formation, and eventually it leads to the heavy rainfall. So the broad idea, because of these heavy rainfalls, why heavy rainfalls are occurring? Because of the cloud formation. And why the cloud formations are occurring in Himalayan states? Because of these areas, because of the specific areas, specific factors which are related to the Himalayan states. Okay, and that is why it has been said that these factors are very localized in the manner. Now, what are the consequences of these cloudbursts? Because of the nature of the terrain, the heavy rainfall event often triggers landslide and flash floods, causing the extensive destruction and the downstream events happening. Now, because there are steep slopes and because there are valleys, so because of that, this steep slope, the water doesn't stay down somewhere. Okay, it flows, and it flows in a very flashy manner. That is why the flash floods occur. And because of these steep slopes, when the portion of a land breaks down, when the portion of the land falls down to the deep gorges, that is called a landslide. Okay, the sliding or the debris which is going down to the valleys or the gorges, and it is happening because of the nature of the geography of this area. Okay, now, what is the forecasting? Okay, you cannot avoid it, it is nature, you cannot stop it, it is nature, but we can forecast it. So we say that we can forecast it. But is cloudburst, the forecasting of a cloudburst is possible? Well, the short answer for cloudburst is no. I'll tell you why. See, the Indian Meteorological Department, or any for that matter any meteorological agency across the world, they are not going to tell you what is the amount of rainfall that is going to occur. Okay, exact amount of rainfall. They might tell you that light rainfall will occur, heavy rainfall might occur, very heavy rainfall might occur, but they're not going to tell, any meteorological department is not going to tell the exact amount of water which is going to come down from those clouds. Okay, so the forecast can be about light, heavy or very heavy rainfall, but the weather scientists do not predict exactly how much rain is likely to fall at any given pace. Okay, so these forecasts get more and more uncertain for smaller areas. All these forecasts which happen, okay, what they tell, heavy rainfall, light rainfall, very heavy rainfall, they tell for a larger area, for a state, maybe for a city, at max for a district. What we read in our definition of a cloudburst is it happens in an area of 10 square kilometers. Okay, so the amount of technology which is required to, maybe it is possible, but we don't have that technology which can predict the exact amount of rainfall and the weather system, the thing, because weather is for a larger period, for a larger space. Okay, so there is no the technological advancement is not so much high in our right now. It requires very dense network of weather instruments right now and computing capabilities that seem unfeasible with current technologies. As a result, the specific cloudburst event cannot be forecasted. This is the reason, that's why I said that maybe the answer is no, because the technology which is required to predict something happening like this for a smaller on a smaller scale is very much unlikely. The technology is not at par with it. Are the cloudburst incidents increasing? Now, are they increasing? Because our memory with cloudburst is very bad. We all are edged to all the incidents which happened in 2013. Uttarakhand incidents were happening there, and we all are aware of it, and we are very much, that's why we fear the cloudburst. We fear this word. The people who are, maybe you're 18, 19 or 21, so you're not very much aware. At that time you might be of you might be having an age of 10 or 11, but people have this in their memory that what has happened in 2013 in Uttarakhand. Okay, so that is why this cloudburst is quite scary for Indians. Now, are these cloudburst incidents are increasing? So by going by the definition of meteorological department, Indian meteorological department, they were saying that 10 centimeter of rainfall in a very short span of time, okay, within a 10 square kilometer of area. So by going by this definition, maybe they are not rising, okay, but the incidents of extreme rainfall, they are on a rise, and not only in India but across the world they are on a rise, okay, not just in India but across the world. While the overall amount of rainfall in India has not changed substantially, an increasing proportion of rainfall is happening in a short span of time. That means that the wet spells are very wet and are followed by or intercepted with the prolonged dry spells, and this is happening because of the climate change. This is all this whole pattern, all thanks to the climate change. So because of the climate change, you can expect and you can say that heavy rainfalls are occurring, and maybe large number of cloudbursts might also occur. But by going through that definition, the exact definition or the exact cloudburst definition is not occurring right now, okay, but you can expect this happening because of the climate change. Now, what's causing heavy rains in Himachal and Uttarakhand? We started our thing with this last month. Also, I covered flash floods in Uttarakhand, and right now I'm covering Himachal. So Himachal, all the cloudbursts in Himachal Pradesh. So why is it happening? And for last 4, 5 years, 6 years, we're constantly listening about this. There are some tourists who are stuck in a valley in Uttarakhand, or they're stuck somewhere in Himachal Pradesh. They went to Kasol, and it might not be very easy to come back, or maybe sometimes for some tourists it's impossible. They might not be alive. Okay, so what's the reason? Why are these heavy rains are happening in Himachal and Uttarakhand? So the reason is northward movement of the monsoon trough and its interaction with the weak western disturbance. Now, what is monsoon trough? It's basically ITCZ, intertropical convergence zone. And what is ITCZ? It's a low pressure area around equator, okay, and in this area the trade winds from western hemisphere and southern hemisphere, they comes and they collide, okay, and in this area, the air of this area, when it meets with the weak western disturbance, then these cloudbursts are responsible for the heavy rains in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. The monsoon trough is an elongated low pressure area, as I told you, which extends from a so-called heat low, a low pressure over the seas over Pakistan, to the head of Bay of Bengal region. And the head of the Bay of Bengal region is Odisha, West Bengal and Bangladesh. And this is one of the semi-permanent feature of the monsoon circulation surrounding, according to the Indian Meteorological Department. Okay, currently the monsoon trough is the north of its normal position, and it is over the Himalayan foothills. And because it is over the Himalayan foothills, that is why these cloudbursts are repeatedly happening over the Himalayan foothills. Okay, the monsoon trough will gradually shift towards the southward, and now temporarily will lead to the reduction in the rainfall over the hills and increase the rainfall over the east central India. Okay, when it goes southward, then the rain will also shift with it towards the east central India. But right now, all this ITCZ and the convergence with the weak western disturbance is happening in the foothills of the Himalayas. Hence, the formation of the cloudburst and the heavy rainfall is occurring in these areas, in specific areas. Okay, so these have been the reasons why most of the landslides are happening in Himachal Pradesh, why the cloudbursts are right now happening, and what is the definition of these cloudbursts and what are the consequences of it, and we cannot stop it. As I said, as I told you before, it's nature, and as we all know it, it's nature, we cannot stop it, but can we predict it? So by going by the definition of what monsoon, what these outburst, these monsoon burst is, we cannot specifically predict it because of the lack of technological advancement, but maybe we can prepare for it, maybe because by preparing our administration, by preparing our police officers and the rescue operation teams, and by seeing things like tourism. Okay, there are some factors, we discussed the factors, geographical factors, which were responsible for the happening of the cloudburst and hence eventually leading to the death of the people. But we also read about why are we expecting the number of cloudbursts can be increased because of the climate change. Okay, and the irresponsible tourism is one of the main reasons why the state of the Himalayan states, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and states around it are experiencing because of the anthropological activities. Okay, so we might not have that much control individually on the climate change. We need collective effort for that. But when you're visiting to any Himalayan state, just try to follow the responsible tourism. Try to behave like a responsible tourist. Okay. So the topic is over. I hope you are aware now with the fact that why all these deaths and why all these unfortunate events are happening in Himachal Pradesh. Next time we'll meet with another topic. Until then, take care. Bye bye.